Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello and welcome children to your science class. Now in unit 1 we have finished with lesson number 1. Today we are going to start unit 2 with lesson number 3. Okay? Now the name of this lesson is the earth and its living world. In this lesson we are going to study about the earth and everything that lives on earth. Okay, the living world on the earth. In this lesson we are going to study mainly about the biosphere. Now what is biosphere? Biosphere consists of 3 spheres, that is the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. The atmosphere refers to the air, the hydrosphere refers to the water and the living things in the water. The lithosphere refers to the earth and living things on the earth. Alright, so let's start. On the surface of the earth we find land in some places and water in others. The earth is surrounded by the atmosphere. There are living things on land, in water and in the air. The sun is the cause of many natural processes on the earth. Water, land and air constitutes envelopes of the earth, namely the hydrosphere, lithosphere and the atmosphere. The biosphere spreads in all the other 3 spheres. Okay? Now first we are going to study about lithosphere and the hydrosphere. The earth's crust is hard. It is mainly made of rock. This is the earth's crust. Okay, and it is mainly made up of rocks. When we travel in hilly regions, we see layers of soil and rock along road cuts. We see grassy expanses of land in some places and only sand in others. The land is covered with crops in some places and with forest in others. Sometimes we get to see the deeper layers of soil into which tree roots spread. At others we see the rocks split apart by the tree roots. There are gentle mountain slopes as well as sheer cliffs of rock. All these land features are part of the Earth's lithosphere. Much of Earth's surface is occupied by the water. The lithosphere extends under this water too. Right? We know that under the sea also we can see we have Earth's crust, right? About the third of the surface of Earth consists of land. A vast continuous stretch of land is called a continent. That means a big space, a big long stretch of land is called a continent. Okay. The land on Earth is divided into 7 continents. Okay. On Earth, the total part of land is divided into 7 different continents. They are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica and Australia. Asia is the largest continent and Australia is the smallest. See, I'll show you in the picture. The world continents and the oceans. Europe, Asia, Africa, South Africa, North America, Australia and Antarctica. So Asia, you can see in the picture, it is the biggest continent in the world, and Australia is the smallest continent in comparison of other continents. Okay. The land is not even in all places. The unevenness gives different shapes to the land and in different places. They are called landforms. In the picture above, you can see some landforms like plain, hill and mountain, etc. See here in this picture. It is a picture shown of a land. Okay. Now, here is water. The small pieces of land that we see in the water are called islands. The land we see near the sea, that is called sea shore. Then hill, plains, rivers, plateau, valley, mountain pass. Mountain pass are the roads, narrow roads that are made in the mountains to to travel. Okay. Now valleys are the deeper grounds between two mountains. Okay. A hill is like a mountain, but it is smaller. Okay. It is not highest as the mountains. Now plains are the lower part of the earth. Okay. Or the lower part of the land. Okay, where crops are grown. Okay, where people live, those are called plains. Now rivers, as you know, and the plateau is little higher than the plains, but it is flat. Okay, those are called plateau. So these are the different landforms of the earth crust. Now 2/3 of the earth's surface is covered with water. Most of this water is in the ocean. See here, you can see in this picture, only this much of land we have, and everything else is water, and most of the water is covered in the oceans, in the seas. There are 5 oceans, namely the Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, the Southern Ocean and the Indian Ocean. See in this picture. The Pacific Ocean, okay, the Atlantic Ocean, the Southern Ocean, Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And here you can see the part of Arctic Ocean too. The land along the margins of an ocean is called a coastal region. So the land that we see near the oceans, okay, all this land is called the coastal regions. Water bodies of different shapes and sizes are formed along the coast. For example, sea, bay, strait, gulf, creek, etc. These water bodies are part of the ocean. Surface water. There are many streams of water flowing over the land. This water is not salty but fresh. These streams of water may be rills, brooks, streams or rivers. Rills are smallest and the rivers are the biggest. Now rills, brooks, streams join each other to form a river. River which join to make a bigger river are called tributaries. In some places, a river cascades down a sudden drop. This forms a waterfall. All rivers eventually flow into the ocean. So, these are the different forms of surface water, okay, from where we get surface water. The first is lake. A water body formed by water collecting naturally in low-lying areas of land is called a lake. So, if there are higher land around, and if the water collects in middle of the higher land, that collection of water is called a lake. Water in the form of ice. Water particles in the clouds freeze and in cold regions they come down in the form of snow. Okay, so in our region it is a little hotter. Okay, so the water particles come down as a rain, but in colder regions they come down as a snow. When layers of snow pile up on the ground, they form ice. When such layers of ice pile up in a low-lying area, they become enormous in size. This huge mass slips down a slope at a very slow speed. This is called a glacier. Okay, so if lot of ice is collected in one place that is very lower in height, it comes down slowly. Okay, so that is called a glacier. There are also huge blocks of ice floating in the sea. They are called icebergs. Okay, you must have seen this in some video or in any movie. Okay, the big like pieces of rocks floating on the water, those are called icebergs. Okay, now groundwater. Besides these water bodies on Earth's surface, there is a lot of water stored in underground layers of rock. What are the underground layers of rock? See, in this picture you can see different layers of rock. Okay, different layers of soil. So water, when it rains heavily, the water is absorbed by all this Earth's crust, and it sets down inside underground the earth. Okay, that water is called groundwater. It is called groundwater. We reach it by means of dug wells and bore wells. Many lakes and wells get water from underground springs. The water or ice that occupies the Earth's surface, groundwater, and the water vapor in the atmosphere together form the Earth's hydrosphere. Okay, so all the water in our atmosphere, the underground water, the ice on the Earth's surface, they all together form the Earth's hydrosphere. Okay, so these are the different picture from where we get the water. Now the atmosphere, so we will study the atmosphere in our next class. Okay, so today we studied about the different hydrosphere. Okay, and lithosphere and the hydrosphere, the earth and the earth's crust, the different types of landforms. Okay, we studied about the different oceans, different continents, and the water bodies. Okay, on earth. In our next class we will study about the lithosphere and how does it rain, what is the cycle of rain, right, the water cycle. Inshallah we'll study this in our next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.